From the pages of X-Men with Dr. Stasis to X-Men Red with Orbis Stellaris. There's one thing all these people have in common, and that is they're all Nathaniel Essex, Mr. Sinister himself, a master of genetic manipulation and someone not to be trusted. And with this new Sins of Sinister event kicking off, hopefully, we get a look into just how devious he could be. Because from the very start of this Krakoan experiment, Charles Xavier and Magneto were warned by the woman with 9 lives what would happen. But unfortunately, his vast database of stored mutant DNA was vital to the formation of the all-mutant state, a place where every mutant could genuinely live free of persecution despite their past actions. And that's what brings us to this prelude. One of the founding fathers of Krakoa has just launched a coup on the Quiet Council, and with the help of the X-gene of Moira, he was able to take out all the telepaths as well as the key to resurrection, Hope Summers. So with a heavy heart, Cable takes Hope's lifeless body before his fellow inhabitants of Krakoa, as all mourn their lost. But despite this heavy blow to the people of Krakoa, something has to be done. And that is what brings us to their plan B. Because up to this point in this run of X-Men comics, we were told that every member of the 5 could be replaced with another mutant with a similar power with the exception of Hope. But due to recent events in the story involving Synch, that could all change, because Synch has the ability to copy any other mutant power much like the mutant Mimic. Now Mimic did try several times to perform the process of resurrection, but each time it ended in absolute failure. But unlike Mimic, Synch's power recently went through a few upgrades from his time in the vault. So with no time to waste, Synch steps in to fill the void left by Hope Summer. And just like the S-tier mutant he is, the process went off without a problem as the fallen members of the council emerged from their respective eggs ready to deal out vengeance on Mr. Sinister. But if they were to get in on the battle, they would have to move quickly because the remaining members as well as the X-Men were already on the scene. Because after Sinister did the deed, he immediately fled to a secret hideout he had in the Arctic. The same base the X-Men took out back when they were the Phoenix 5. So as you may have guessed, Mr. Sinister was not going to go down without a fight because he was able to launch an army of mutant chimera to repulse the attack. These grotesque creatures came in several different combinations, one of which was a fusion of Cyclops and I-Boy. But despite how many bodies Sinister put between himself and the forces of Krakoa, nothing seems able to slow them down. So with the walls begins to close in around him, Sinister frantically plans his escape via a ship. But little did he know once he got it airborne there was yet another obstacle in his way. The 4 mutants he was able to eliminate were back. Charles Xavier, Emma Frost, Exodus, and Hope Summer. But with little to no effort, the Omega-level mutant Exodus was able to send a massive energy blast at the fleeing craft, sending it crashing to Earth. With very little hope, the beaten and bruised Sinister emerged from the ship, and in a last-ditch effort, he ordered his soldiers to open fire on the mutant that stood before him. But before they could comply, Charles with no hesitation exploded their heads, killing them instantly. And just like that, Sinister was taken into custody to answer for his crimes. Now with Sinister bound and defeated, he was brought before the people of Krakoa in shame, as he was led by Cable to the council chamber where he was to answer for crimes against the nation. And answer he did, as Charles and the rest of his peers sentenced him to be bound in the pits of Krakoa. So much like Sabretooth and the Hellions before him, the ground opened up and swallowed him whole, banishing him to a home of what they thought was eternal imprisonment. So with Sinister defeated, the council began to look forward to a better tomorrow. Or at least that is what we are led to believe. Until quietly Destiny takes her love, Mystique, by her wrist and tells her in a low tone that they must leave immediately. For the woman who knows the future can see dark days ahead for the world as a whole. For the sins of Sinister have just begun. Because in the private chambers of Charles himself, we watch as he gazes into a mirror and removes the cerebro from his head to reveal the red diamond of Nathaniel Essex, Sinister. So with that said, this issue comes to an end.